Hey, Rose here with another online dating tip for you. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we are talking about international dating and interracial dating, and we are focusing on African men, okay, who are dating women from outside the continent.
Our hearts beat to the city streets. We began to feel the fire.
I've been actually meaning to cover this topic because I feel like it's something that is not talked about a lot. I know my channel is about, us women discussing these issues, but I tried to raise this topic because I know there are a lot of men who are married outside Africa. And I actually came across a live stream where there was this brother who was sharing his challenges that he has faced as a result of marrying outside Africa, outside the race, outside the continent, outside our culture. So the first thing I want to say in this video is that our African men are raised to be, the breadwinner, he's supposed to provide for the family, he's supposed to lead the family. And there are things in the house that actually an African man doesn't usually do. And even if he does, like let's say for example, when you are in Kenya, there are things that maybe the man will do, but he won't even want other men to know that he's doing these things, to help the wife. Because some things are taboo, like if, let's say his buddy finds him in the kitchen washing the dishes, the other brother will be like, are you okay? Okay, I know things are changing now because, life has become modernized and people are busy and they are all working, so they need to really figure out how they're gonna get the household going. But these are things that usually men don't do. Men don't usually wash the dishes, they don't cook. They don't wash the clothes, they don't go outside hanging the clothes to dry. Maybe he might help you inside the house, but he probably wouldn't want the neighbors to see him hanging the clothes outside. In many cases, they won't. Okay, I know that there will always be that isolated case where the man is washing and mopping the floor and doing things like that. So, because I don't want to generalize, and then you guys will come in the comments saying, oh no, my uncle used to mop the floor and he used to change baby's diaper or nappies and things like that. But in most cases, generally, African men don't do these things, okay? So now, when it comes to an African man marrying, let's give an example, a European woman or an American woman, and then moving to that country, okay? I feel like if they were living in Kenya, let's say for example, if he was to marry an American woman and moves her to Kenya, if this woman is really interested in learning how our culture is, how things are done, how the household is run, then maybe things will be easier. But if he moves to her country, to America or to Germany or to Sweden, then things get very complicated. Because this means that he will have to learn that culture because now he's living there. So he will have to do things how things are done there. And statistics show that these marriages between African men and these foreign women, unfortunately, most of them don't survive because it becomes so difficult to adjust that this man is not going to be able to adjust because the culture shock becomes too much. Especially when it comes to this, when it comes to house chores and things that are supposed to be done around the house, you'll find that maybe both the man and the woman are working. Then maybe the woman gets off work earlier than the guy, okay? So she comes home, she might do a few things and then she will, of course, sit down and relax. But this African man expects that now I'm coming from work, okay? I must have my food prepared. The food should be ready for me to consume. everything should be ready for me to go and have my shower, come and relax, and I should be served. I should sit down and the food should be brought to me and I should have my food. And then the plates should be taken away and I'm relaxing, playing my video game or watching something, watching football. But then you find that is not the case, okay? You come from work, you find the wife is there relaxing. Maybe she was able to do a few things because she's also tired. She came from work and she managed to prepare something for herself and she ate and she's relaxing, watching her Lifetime movies. So now you're like, babe, what are we having for dinner? And she's like, well, I had something. You can go to check in the fridge. You might find something or order something. So now this African man will be thinking, am I married or am I not married? Because in an African setting, the scenario I just described earlier, that's what is supposed to happen. He's supposed to come and, oh, my husband, you're home. Oh, my goodness. And, oh, how was your day? And, your shower is ready. Go and have your shower. And things are laid out for him, to change from work clothes to home clothes. And everything is ready and the slippers are there. And then once he comes out, do you want coffee? Do you want tea? What do you want? Or do you want your food straight away? So these things become very complicated and things becomes even worse when you have children, okay? When you start having children, now you have to share responsibilities or you have to share, taking care of these children. Today, this night, you're the one who is changing the diapers and feeding the baby. I'm sleeping. Okay, tomorrow is my turn. Now I'm feeding the baby and changing the diapers. So if you come online and tell your fellow African men that you've been changing, or maybe you are telling a story and then you are like, oh, and when I was changing my baby's diaper, and then they're like, whoa, hold on. What did you just say? So this thing, I feel like these couples who have actually made it work, an African man and an American woman or a European woman, and they have made it work. That is, they deserve congratulations. Because I feel like, marriages between African women and these men, when you have two people who love each other and they come together, because this African woman is not used to the man actually, doing something in the house, she will be like, oh my goodness, oh my God, he's so caring, he's so nice, he's putting, the washing in the machine and he's loading the dishwasher and he's emptying the dishwasher, oh my goodness. This is why you find these marriages last, because the woman feels so appreciated because it's something that maybe she has never experienced even in her previous relationships, okay, in Africa. But now she has come because of the culture. It's not because the man is so wonderful and he's a saint. It's because of the culture. He doesn't expect you to be like a housemaid or to be a slave or to, he treats you like, you're his wife and you're here and maybe you've been working or you've been to school and you come from school and he's like, oh babe, I have prepared coffee for you, I've prepared something for you, go and have your shower, relax. And then you're like, oh my God, the tables have turned. So this is why these marriages, you find them, they are so sweet because the woman has found a different culture where, things are even done for her and she doesn't have to always be the one cleaning up and doing things around the house. The husband is doing things, he's emptying the trash bins, he's doing things around the house, and the wife is so appreciative. Okay, I know there are those foreigners who are coming to Africa because they don't want to do those things. They are looking for slaves. Then that is a different case, because now this woman who is looking to date outside the continent, and then now she meets this person, and maybe these are things that she's trying to run away from, She wants to feel like a partner, not a housemaid or a slave. So this will also go wrong. But when it comes to African men, because now the roles have turned, things have changed. Now it's like, am I married? Am I not married? And the thing is, with this, let's say, for example, American women or even African women who have lived in the US, and you guys met there and you got married there. Now she has learned the culture. She's like, oh my goodness, here is different. I don't have to be the one to do everything for him. He can also do some things for himself, and he can even do things for me. So now these men live in fear, because these women are always on the phone ready to dial 911. Like if you say ngoe, 911. So I feel like a lot of these men, if they could come out and share their stories, what they are going through in these marriages, I think we will learn a lot of things, because I feel it's very difficult for them. It's very difficult for them, because I see women here who are married, just Europeans married to each other, and I see how they do things, and I look at that couple and I'm thinking, if this woman was to get married to an African man, oh my goodness, this African man will be in trouble, because you find some of them, the husband works, you bring all the money, and the wife is the one who is budgeting. She's the one who is saying, okay, this we are paying the mortgage, this we are paying the car loan, this we are paying for this, and this is mine for shopping. And then if you need something, you tell me, I'll if you need, do you need something, then I'll give you the money to buy. And this is the money that the man has earned. He's been working. Oh my goodness. Let's also talk about your family and your relatives back home, and your neighbors, your community actually seeing you as a traitor. You as a man leaving all those beautiful women, going to marry a woman from another country, another continent. So when you go home, I feel like you'll always be seen like a traitor. Why did you unaenda kuoa wakoloni? Okay, that happens also with women who marry outside the continent, especially those ones who are in interracial marriages. It happens also. You are walking down the street and somebody is just throwing insults at you, and it's somebody who doesn't know you. They don't know your story. Just because you are walking around with your husband who is of a different race, they have already made up their minds about who you are and what this whole relationship is about. They throw insults at you. You're like, oh my goodness. So now, as an African man walking around in the streets of Nairobi with this Muzungu wife, this Muzungu wife of yours, you will find that people have already made up their minds about you. They think that you are not a man enough, because obviously we've seen now on social media, everybody can see how things are. And then you find somebody will think, oh, wewe umekaliwa, huyu mkoloni amekukalia, this Mzungu wife of yours, this Mzungu woman of yours, she's the one who calls the shots. You are not a man in your house. Wewe ndo unamuosha miguu. They have already made up their minds about your relationship and about your marriage and about what this whole thing is about. Of course, there is also the issue of you married a Muzungu because you wanted a green card. That's everybody who is in an interracial relationship, interracial marriage, they go through this. And this means your marriage will not be taken seriously. Actually, a lot of African men who are married to Wazungus, who are married to white women, from Europe, from the US, from Australia, these marriages are not taken seriously by the communities. Okay, and I feel like even though African women who are married outside the race, also their marriages are not taken so seriously. I think it's worse when it's a man who is married to a white woman, because they're like, okay, Nisawa, you married her for green card or for relocation. You wanted to go and live in America, or you married her for money if she's got money. And then they're like, okay, so you did that. Now you have to come back home and get married. They're like, okay, fine. You did that. You got your Muzungu woman. Now what you need to do is come home. We do a traditional wedding. There's a very beautiful young girl here who is willing to have your babies, especially if you don't have children with this woman, or maybe you only have one child. They're like, you can come, brother, come home. There's this beautiful young girl who is at a childbearing age. She can bear many children for you. So your marriage is not gonna be taken seriously, and it's gonna be, I feel like it's so tough for men, because men don't share about these things. Like they're not like us. We are just out here, just airing our dirty laundry on social media. But men don't share about these things, so I feel like it's gonna be so stressful, and I feel like a lot of men fall into depression because they cannot share what is going on. And maybe he really does love this woman, because come on, love has no boundaries, love has no race, has no, if you love somebody, you love somebody. So maybe he loves his wife, he loves his family, he's taking care of his family, but every time he goes back home, he's been told, okay, do you remember that issue we were discussing? Have you had time to think about it? Oh my goodness. So these are issues I feel a lot of men are facing. Your marriages are not taken seriously when you marry outside the race, outside the continent. Your marriages are not taken seriously. You're always going to be pushed to marry another African girl who is going to bear your children. Another issue we must discuss is when you marry somebody outside your race and it's somebody who is controlling, especially if she's older than you. If she's slightly older than you and she's controlling, then it becomes so toxic and it becomes so difficult, you as a man, because an African man is not raised like this, okay? An African man, as I said, is raised to be a leader, okay? He's raised to be, to make decisions, not to be told. Actually, he's not raised to be told what to do. So when you find yourself now in this situation where you're living in this woman's house and she's making the rules, and she's making all the decisions, like she's deciding what you're going to do. And especially if, okay, maybe you're making money, but maybe she's making more money than you. So now she's going to be telling you what to do with your money, when you can go home to visit your relatives, what you can do. Like she's with you all the time, okay? Because also she's insecure. So you cannot go anywhere by yourself. She's there with you, she's holding your hand. And we Africans, we don't really have this tradition of walking around holding hands and PDA everywhere, displaying affection in public. We are not like that. So now you're uncomfortable and you have to walk around holding hands with this woman, and if you don't, then she's gonna throw a temper tantrum. And if this woman you're with is not willing to learn your culture, if you guys are planning to have children, this means your children will probably not be able to learn your culture, okay? Because naturally, women are the ones who are going to spend most time with children, especially when they're small. So she's going to be teaching the children, her culture, and they're just going to be learning about, mostly about the woman's family and about her side of the family, because you're probably busy working, okay? You're not even maybe spending a lot of time with these children. They don't get the chance to learn your language, okay? So even when you take them back home to say hello to your side of the family, they're just foreigners. They don't speak even a word of your language, because they are not able to learn your language, and they are not able to learn anything about your people. So this is another thing I feel like men who marry outside their race are going to face, and it's gonna be challenging for them, and I feel like they're gonna feel like they're losing out on something, because these children, you're working so hard to raise these children, but they're like foreigners. They don't know anything about you, about your side of the family. They don't know nothing. Okay, they spend time with their grandparents from this side. So they spend obviously most of the time with their mom, so they speak and sound like their mom. Your in-laws. Okay, so your in-laws will probably never accept you. Okay, I know there are good in-laws out there. They might accept you and, just welcome you as the member of their family. But keep in mind, there are some relatives who are probably racist, okay? And there are some relatives who are probably classist, so they feel you are lower than them, okay? So if you find yourself in this family where people are not accepting you, so now it's just you and your wife. And if things go wrong, between you and your wife, and then she goes and tells, her parents, oh, now he's doing this to me, now he's doing this to me. Keep in mind, they already don't like you. So now it's like adding fuel to the fire. This, what are you doing with this African man? What are you doing with him? So when you have those cookouts, those barbecues, it's gonna be very interesting because we Africans, we are smart people. Okay, you can just look at somebody and know this person doesn't like me. They just don't like me. So it's gonna be quite difficult. Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter, holiday season, birthdays. For your kids and even your wife's birthday and things like that. So I just hope, like, if you get married, you just go into a family, a loving family, accepting family, because you're coming from Africa. You are a man. You're coming from Africa. You're coming from where you know your way around. You know how you're supposed to do things. You've been raised as a man, as a Simba of the house, and now you're coming here. Unakuwa Simba amenyeshewa. Oh wow. So yes, in some families you might not be accepted. You might find in-laws that will not accept you, and I feel like that is gonna be very difficult to navigate because it's good to be accepted. It's good to be accepted in the family that you join. Your wife's family is now your family, because as Africans we believe where you get married, that is your family. The father of that family, your father-in-law is your dad. In most cases, actually, in Africa, once you get married to this family, that is your mom and that is your dad. That's how we refer to them. We call them dad. And that's another thing. You come into this culture and your father-in-law is just Nick. And your mother-in-law is just Stacy. And it feels, as an African, it feels so difficult when you're addressing your mother-in-law by her first name. Hey, Stacy, what's up? Oh, good morning, Stacy. Hey, Nick, what's popping? That's your father-in-law. It's wow. It's your African food. Okay, I know that maybe your wife might make an effort to learn how to prepare the meals that you like, our African dishes. And first of all, I want to say, because I saw that man I mentioned in the beginning of the video. He was saying that, well, my wife doesn't know how to cook. She cooks those European dishes and things like that. And I was thinking, it's not that she doesn't know how to cook. It's just that she knows how to cook their dishes. Okay, and you might not like that kind of food. Okay, you might not like the kind of food that she knows how to make, but that does not mean she doesn't know how to cook. Okay, so just because she doesn't know how to cook ugali, she doesn't know how to cook nyoyo, she doesn't know how to fry omena, she doesn't know how to make fufu, it doesn't mean she doesn't know how to cook. Okay, it's just that she knows how to cook European food. And maybe you don't like European food, so you think it's not good. But it's actually good, it's delicious, because that's how it's supposed to be made. Okay, I know, you say it's full of cream, it's full of butter, it's full of this, but that's how it's supposed to be made. That's how maybe that kind of dish is supposed to be made. So, I know your wife might learn how to make your food, and I know she's not gonna make it like your mama made it. Okay, she's not gonna make fufu like your mama made it. She's not gonna make that soup like your mama made it, but she might try. But then again, she might not. She might not try even to learn or even to make. So that means your African food, when you miss it, you have to prepare it yourself. You have to make the fufu yourself. You have to make that okra soup yourself. You have to make the ugali yourself. You have to cook that githeri by yourself in the kitchen. And you have to wash the dishes when you finish, because that's how it is. You don't get to leave the dishes, leave a messy kitchen for the wife to come and clean up. She's not your maid. I know you Africans, you say, I'm marrying, you ask an African man, why are you marrying? I want somebody to come and be cooking for me, to be cleaning after me, and to be washing and ironing my clothes. This wife is not going to do that. And in conclusion, don't expect your European or your American wife to be like an African wife. That's not gonna happen, okay? She's not there to clean after you, to cook for you. She's not there to do anything for you. The only thing, actually, I was going to say the only thing she's going to do for you is matters concerning bedroom, but even there she will tell you what to do, and you have to do it, because she's not there to please you. You guys are there to please each other. So she will tell you what she likes, and you have to follow instructions. I know you African men don't like being told what to do by a woman, and especially being given instructions on how she likes it. You have to listen and take notes. She's gonna even send you emails, so you know what you're doing. So I feel like these marriages between African men and women outside our continent are quite challenging. Yes, the other way is also challenging when an African woman is married to a man from outside the continent, because of course the culture shock is something, but I feel like it's heavier on the African man, because it's gonna take time for you to get used to everything, okay? You are facing a lot of things, get used to actually living with her and doing things how things are supposed to be done. You cannot yell. You cannot yell at her, okay? She's got the phone with 911 already on speed dial. She just have to press one button. And you're an African man, a black man, and she's a white woman. Oh, you are so in jail. You cannot raise your voice. You cannot threaten her in any way. You cannot start throwing things and showing how Simba you are, punching walls and doing things. You'll be arrested, okay? So you have to check your temper. You have to check your temper. These are not the kinds of women you just speak to anyhowly and yell and scream, and because she's gonna say you're traumatizing her. She oh my goodness, she's gonna go somewhere in a corner and with her phone and call 911 and call her mother and say now she needs to go and see a therapist because she's already traumatized. And by the time she's going to see a therapist, you're in jail. Well, okay. I don't want you to think that I'm making this video to scare you. I just want to highlight these things because these things are happening. These things are happening and men are not sharing. There is a video here on YouTube where this very highly educated, very successful African man, and this man got involved or got married to a white American woman, and his story is here on YouTube, and things went really bad for him, and it actually pains me to see our very strong, highly educated, successful, good-looking man being broken and turned into something that it just makes you sad. He cannot work because if he works, all his money is gone. He's working for somebody else because the money will be taken to go and pay alimony. So be careful out there when you're marrying foreign women. Be careful. Make sure it's just somebody, you're just two people who have fallen in love and you just want to get married. But make sure you're not in a situation where somebody is just, some of them have an eye for a successful man. She knows this man is earning good money, he's highly educated, he's well-mannered, he's good-looking, of course, So, and then now the goal is just to take from this man. We are always as Africans being accused of getting involved with foreign men because we want to get green cards and get money from them and just, be parasites. But there are parasites on the other side as well that we are not talking about. There are parasites on the other side who are preying on our successful, highly educated men who are making good money in the US, in Europe, and they just take this man and they're just gonna be milking him for everything he's got. And once they're tired, they just spit him out. It's like they just chew him, and then spit him out when they're tired of him. And then there is nothing left for the man. Anyway, my name is Rose. Thank you for coming to my YouTube channel today. On this channel, we talk about interracial dating, we talk about online dating, and we talk about life abroad. As an African moving abroad, we discuss these issues, what happens when you move there. So if you like these kinds of videos, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. Please give this video a big thumbs up so it can be pushed to more people. I'm finding it quite tough here on YouTube because I've been growing so quickly on TikTok. So now I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm posting every day and I'm growing at a snail pace, but I know it will pick up at some point, especially if you subscribe and if you like my video and share my video and comment. Leave your comments below. What do you think about African men marrying outside our continent and marrying outside our race and marrying outside our culture? What do you think about this issue, and what do you think are some of the challenges that they might face, especially when they don't live in Africa, they marry this woman and move to this woman's country? Please leave your comments below. Let's discuss in the comments. I'll be there to answer your comments. Thank you for coming to my YouTube channel. Thank you for watching my videos, and I shall see you on my next one. Bye bye for now.